Hi YouTube, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, give a thumbs up to the video if you found it helpful, and pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. Okay guys, I know this may sound like a repetitive thing with a lot of these topics and this conversation we're having about narcissists, and rightfully so. I never tire of repeating myself when it comes to a subject like this, because this is something that the narcissist will never tire of, is destroying people. Now, you know the narcissists are very insatiable. And without having a dictionary in front of me, that is, to me, a person that really cannot sit their ass down. They can't be still. They always have a drive, an excessive, overwhelming drive to be noticed, to have attention paid on them, no matter what it is, where it is, no matter how sacred the occasion is. A narcissist will interject their presence. They will divert your attention away from what it is you're there for, and somehow or another they will put it on themselves, because they're very jealous to sit there and have to pay attention to someone else, pay homage to someone else, pay respects for someone else. They will be distracted at a funeral. They're very distracting. They'll be distracting at a funeral. So I want to talk about how narcissists use their children. And obviously we know they use their children like pawns, like ransom notes. I mean, not ransom note. They use them as ransom. They use them as currency. They use them as benefit cards. They use them as whatever to get through life. They don't love their kids like healthy people or normal human beings. Non-narcissists put it that way, because they can't form bonds. Understand this, guys. I don't care if you know people that seem to that you believe are narcissists, who you believe have raised their kids in ways that they have grown up to be model citizens in society. They've mimicked behavior. They've allowed their children to give the illusions that they have arrived, that they have accomplished in life. But believe me, you, behind the scenes of these individual kids' state of mind, there's a train wreck going on inside. The child just doesn't know it yet. You and I, who have been in narcissistic family units, we are living proof of what I just said. As we have aged out and we awakened, it is only by the grace of God that we now know that doesn't matter what accomplishments we've made in life, we know that we have been damaged in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was buying into the matrix type of mindset, the matrix types of thinking, doing things or whatnot, we are having to learn to unthink the way that we've thought for most of our life. That's dinner, guys. So I want to talk about how children, and this is just one of many ways, I was observing, and this is always coming from real life more than not. I was observing, if you're out and about, you could be out in your yard doing yard work, the narcissists will come out. If they hear a noise, a weed whack or whatever, they will come out on their porch. They will sit out there. They will pull up lawn chairs. They will come. If you're in your backyard and you have adjacent backyards that are joining one another, they will come out and they will sit their asses out with their child. And it's very telling their state of mind, because in this situation where you're talking about a child that's probably less than a year old, they will come out, and as a gang, it's a whole group of these family members. When they are narcissist groupings, they come out and they sit, and then they come out in a very unassuming, passive, nonchalant way. Then lo and behold, all of a sudden you can hear the tone pick up, and you hear the tone pick up to the point where they want what they're talking about to be heard. And it goes just beyond that. because even normal people do that from time to time. But the difference of normal people are not even as conscious of talking as to other people hearing them conversate. They're not even focused on who's listening to them. They're having a casual conversation amongst themselves. But that's not the reason why narcissists do it. They do it specifically and purposely and methodically and planned, because this is the insatiable desire of needing attention. And going on, they begin to start talking to the child in a seemingly coddling way. Hey, blah, 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 whatever. And all of a sudden, that will go from pretending to be this parent just engaging with your child. Then you will hear the control kick in. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Stop. No. And it will be like a robot. It would be like a tape player that's stuck. If you count the times that these parents, and I say parents because if you got two narcissist parents or a couple of narcissists in that same setting or group as I'm describing this situation, one is saying no. Then 5 seconds later, you hear the other one saying no, no, stop, no, no. Because what they want you to hear is how good of a parent they are. They oversell the product, guys. They are constantly trying to give the illusion that they are these model citizens. They are these decent and upstanding parents. Because what they're doing is they're driving this child up a wall. And it's annoying everyone who's listening to this shit show, namely neighbors. But if you're not awake and you hear this type of neighbor that hears this would normally say, wow, you get drawn in, like thinking in your mind that they are doing the most. They're doing their due diligence. And you normalize it. But this is not normal, because what you don't understand, or what you understand as you awaken to this BS, you know it doesn't take all that. Let the child be a child. Reprimanding the child every 5 seconds, this is annoying as hell. And it serves a twofold purpose. It's for the hearers, it's for the neighbors, namely you and me, listening because they need a show. So they're putting on a show for you and I. And they are indoctrinating this child because they're hell-bent on control. So they're indoctrinating this child to have to earn things based on sit, stay. Almost like when you're training a dog. This is how narcissists train their children. I guess that's the bigger point I'm getting at. And you and I, we all were raised in seemingly strict ways in one way or another. I'm a 70s baby. And you grow up believing that that was good for you as an adult. It was good for you because it caused you to not do a thing. But a lot of the things you didn't do, you didn't understand why you didn't do them. You were just told you don't do it, and that's the end of it. You didn't question. But as you are awakening, as you are an adult, living this thing called life, seeing certain things that are not that serious, you learn quickly you don't have to be the goody two-shoe that your parents are trying to indoctrinate you to be. You can just try to be as authentic as you can, make mistakes. Don't go over and beyond to try to prove and impress upon someone how good you are. And if you make a mistake, roll with it. You learn from it. And this is what an insatiable part of a narcissist is. They drive the nail through the wood. They don't just nail it in flush. Their whole agenda is to have you so fractured when you become an adult, you don't really know what's right from wrong, because everything they've taught you is their interpretation of what they want right and wrong to be. And when you start looking at people in society and you start looking at some of these things that don't line up, you start to question yourself, not realizing you should be questioning the source. But only when you awaken, you begin to question the source. And in this case, the parents. So again, back to that thing about how children are used as pawns by narcissists because they need to garner this attention, adulation, and admiration. They're insatiable, guys. So this is what we have to understand when we see them training children and doing such things seemingly in a noble fashion. Before I close, I want to tell you about an event or happening that just popped on my phone the other day. This daycare. And my next video will be talking about how, the cameras are exposing narcissists like you wouldn't believe. They used to throw the rock and hide their hand, but the cameras don't lie. All the way from the Robert Brooks situation where these 11 inmates or 11 correctional officers had their camera on, body cam, and didn't even know it, because narcissists get comfortable doing dirty, wicked, conniving, behind the back stuff. And to the point where their mind is not conscious of the fact, because they get so comfortable doing stuff. So I'll be talking about that in the next video extensively. But before I lose my point on closing here, the narcissist uses these children in this daycare. This was autistic kid in a daycare. This was a daycare for challenged children with learning disabilities. They were smacking the kid, throwing stuff at him, and they fired and arrested 3 daycare workers for doing this atrocious stuff. Sitting on their lazy ass, slapping, punching, and throwing stuff at this autistic kid. And if you know anything about autistic kids, they are very sensitive to touch and feel, and they're sensory. Things like that could spook an autistic kid to a point. Unlike you and me, you can play and fake like you're gonna hit us. It won't fracture us in a major way. But autistic kid, it throws their whole day off. And it causes them to rage. See, a narcissist wants you to rage because they are full of rage. Things to think about, guys. So next time you're in a circle of friends or you're in a grouping and you see picnic, whatever, and you're just a casual observer and you see the way that some adults are rearing their kids excessively, overtly. They're constantly saying, no, stop, cut that out. No, they're constantly trying to get these kids to dot their I's and cross their T's. And they're doing this almost every so many seconds. It's not like every once in a while. It is mad annoying, man. But you must recognize it, because these are distinct indicators that you very well could be in the presence of a narcissist pack, meaning a narcissist clan, a narcissist group, family group, because they run in packs, man. If you get a narcissistic family unit out in public and you start an altercation or an altercation ensue verbally, you very well could be ravaged. And I'll use ravaged. They'll attack you like a pack of hyenas. And most of them won't even know how this situation started or where it began. They was just get in where they fit in. I've seen this. This is what you see when you see group of people attack one individual. Most often, they're all on demon time. That being said, bless.